And that's the pedigree of player, the experience that this coaching staff's looking for. Older guys, you're coming from a JUCO or you're transferring for an opportunity. You can't play postseason until 28, 29, so your only motivation is...
Find Ndongo down low. He leaves it short. Powell, offensive rebound through contact, and finally the scoring drought is over at over 5 minutes. Without scoring, Duncan Powell finally snaps it.
Yeah, and this first game of the tournament against a St. Joe's team. It's an 8-9 game, and they had Jameer Nelson and Delonte West in the backcourt. And you win with guards.
His teammates loved it.
Onwuchekwa knocks it loose, and Georgia Tech picks it up. Powell to the hole, takes the contact and gets the roll. You see Kawasi Reeves work through him. He liked that sweet potato pie. Duncan Powell with the two-hand jam. And that was the other big concern for Coach Damon Stoudamire, was the live ball turnovers that Georgia Tech committed. As Duncan Powell, you can count the basket.
Powell's hit one from the corner, gets around flag, nice finish. Flag playing with two, posting Powell. Powell knocks it away. McCollum for Georgia Tech the other way. Wraps it inside, and Ndongo finishes.
Timeout.
3 minutes ago, cut to 5 by Georgia Tech.
Yeah, I mean, this is what happens in college basketball. You get a run, and all of a sudden these things happen. That was a great, he lost the ball.
6-0 run for Tech. Leading by 4, 13-9. On the drive, shot blocked.
Great job coming over by Powell with the block without here early in the year. He's trying to figure things out as he come back from injury. Good sign here with him knocking down that step back.
The transfer from Oklahoma, block there from Powell. Tech towards the end of the buzzer. And Powell flushes it home as the clock will hit 0-0.
Comes back to Shrewsbury. Terry poked it away. Powell the loose ball. Ahead to Terry, the Ramblin' Wreck. Out and running. Case.
He's going to be upset after watching the film of this one. You got to get on the floor. Lance Terry sure did. And watch this one. Quick. Right hand.
Terry, George, McCollum, Ndongo, and Powell on the floor for Georgia Tech. Powell, two-handed flush. It's got to be the hair.
Doesn't everybody?
Yeah.
Former Butler Bulldog, one of the carryovers from the Rob Lanier regime, who was let go after the season and replaced by Andy Enfield. Powell, who just made a three, puts it on the deck, down the lane, put his head down and got to where he wanted to go. And was it Andy Enfield who said when he was growing up in Pennsylvania, he was a Maryland basketball fan?
Yeah.
Back in the Len Bias days. Powell goes end to end. Count the basket.
Back around to the left side. I mean, that's textbook from a coach's perspective.
Powell step through left hand. How did that go down?
That's a strong individual.
They're going to give that to Jackson. Anytime he's behind the three-point line, they're going to take their chances with him.
That was really well executed by Nate George, who continues to grimace. Missed out on the NCAA tournament. They had 9 Q1 and Q2 wins. They're not anywhere close to that this year. That's why they need some of those wins at home, as Terry.
So they eliminate having to defend your sideline out of bounds plays.
Nice take by Duncan Powell. And the Sacramento State transfer is headed back to the free throw line.
Years ago, and I think the pandemic, was their best chance to be a Final Four, if not a national championship team. That was an elite roster.
Burnham and Brown. Boy, quick move to Young. Tried to get it to Wessler, turned it over, and here's Sutton. Darion Sutton trying to make a transition chance. Sutton feeds. He got it to Powell, who then feeds Ndongo.
Ball. Sutton finds Duncan Powell, who finds Ndongo for the beautiful 3-on-1 opportunity. And on the other
And Rain Smith comes back in. And there's miscommunication there. And back the other way, it's Powell. Don't look now. He'll go to the free throw line, and it's a three-point game.
But here's what we've seen is that Georgia Tech has been able to turn up the intensity with their defense. Watch this last play, and you see Powell.
Now Powell with 8 to shoot. Into traffic, scores, and draws the foul. Muscle up basketball from Dylan Powell, coach.
He just stayed with it the whole way and wasn't going to be denied.
Foul is going to be on Dylan Hunter. It'll be his hybridder there defensively. Here's George back for Powell. He'll fire and hit. Duncan Powell out of the corner. Damon Stoudamire going to burn a timeout. It'll leave him with 1 to go, I think. Or no, he's out now.
That's a good.
Here's Georgia Tech front court out of timeouts. Powell launches off the mark, cleans it up. Overtime. Overtime at Littlejohn Coliseum on the follow by Duncan Powell. Up in the hands of Dylan Hunter. Duncan Powell took a tough shot and then a follow, coach.
I mean, he just threw
For Virginia right now. Saunders and Robinson cannot collaborate. 4.5 minutes to go. Powell trying to go down Broadway with the left hand, lays it in. And their head coach Tony Bennett celebrated this evening.
Ron Sanchez and Damon Stoudamire sharing a moment, and look at Tony Bennett just so.
When it allows more than 70. Two teams that don't play a ton in this area. Powell.
Oh, that's a strong move right there by Powell. Like we talked about, him in the post, right? He's really good down there.
That is still the case here this season. Terry has it stripped away by Leggett. Ball comes to Mustaf. Finds Powell from the corner. He's fouled and will have a chance at a 4-point play.
I tell you what, Doug, he does not remember what happened against Boston College last game. He's coming out here shooting the ball, extreme confidence, and a guy who really took advantage of the injuries that Georgia Tech have. You see him right here, just a kick out in the corner, knocking it down. Doesn't matter.
The two men from Senegal, and again, Papa has not had a consistent role for Pittsburgh this year, but he brings a physicality to this team. That's a new career high for Duncan Powell, and he has a chance, as Coach Capel certainly understands, for his second 4-point play of the half from that very same spot.
Well, I tell you what, he's bringing the physicality, he's bringing the jump shooting.
George has the 5 assists, but only 2 points.
They're running the floor now.
And timeout by Kevin Keats. 8 unanswered from Georgia Tech. The bench with Mustaf. And you build around that. They're going to be one of the top teams in the ACC.
Absolutely, they definitely will be.
And Georgia Tech might be putting this away.
Yeah, they're running away with this now. They're putting them to bed. Zip them up.
Right away, they see a mismatch that they like. A.J. St. McCray, a strong guy. Nice help. Better finish. Duncan Powell. Shaq man. Be ready for him.
Well, on the heels of his worst game of the year at Boston College when he went 0 for 6, the reigning Cleveland with the steal, but then gave it back. Great hands by Nathan George. Then he finds the open man, who finds the more open man. The slam by Powell, plus the foul.
The pass to start off that sequence of events by Nate George. A left-handed, one-handed across. Look at this. The skill level.
No surprise. The man who leads all scorers with 29 points. There's Mr. Terry. And he says, wait a second. Duncan Powell says, I'm the National Player of the Week. How can I not be the player of the game?
My peeps are at Delta. That's right. 43-37.
Oh, nice.
Powell slam. Good find indeed.
But here's been the problem, OB, for Virginia. They can't keep guys out of the paint. And so Nathan George is now having his way, getting downhill. Duncan Powell filling the lane coming in. Let's go back to the Nate George hair braided versus wearing the fro analytics.
Powell is shot clock down to 2. A fall away. He drills it.
on the floor right now. Isaiah Evans, they leaned on him in the first half. He knocked down the 2 threes for Duke in that first session.
Instant offense. Powell trying to go through him, and he does.
6 to 7 scholarship players available. But when you look at the star stories for the Blue Devils this afternoon, it was the freshman that stepped up and not the freshman that you would expect.